will triumph with lots of love. Lots of love, lots of love, lots of love, lots of love.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Sukai Todd's Thoughts and you're listening to me, Sukai Todd. And for today's vlog, we'll be doing a retrospective review of Enchanted 2008, 2007-2008. Disney's sleeper hit that has now become a classic in its own right. And I just want to say, disclaimer, these are all my purely subjective thoughts, opinions, perspectives, yada yada yada, you know the rest. Play nicely in the comments. Comments are strictly moderated. And I do like Disenchanted, deal with it. Okay, but before we get started, I recently started a GoFundMe for a new laptop that I seriously need. So if you want to help me with my student loans and or laptop, links will be below. And you can make a one-time donation to my PayPal if you feel so inclined. Thank you. Alright, so getting into Enchanted. And I will also be having an Enchanted soundtrack review. It won't be the full soundtrack, but it'll be all my favorite songs. Okay, so let's get into the basics of the movie that we all know and love. Giselle, played by Amy Adams, falls, well, she's really pushed into the human world of New York. Very clever, Disney. And she finds her true Prince Charming, Robert, played by Patrick McDreamy. More info on the term McDreamy in my Disenchanted review, or / in defense of Disenchanted 2022, but I digress. This movie is so close to my heart. So close to my heart. So ironic that I'm using that term. But this movie was just so amazing to watch in the theater many years ago when it first came out. It was like, I feel like I'm aging myself. It was just such a wonderful film all around. Although there were a couple of issues I had with it. The first being some of the bathroom jokes. Ugh. Yuck. No. That's all I'm gonna say. And the second is that Disney kind of played up a love triangle and didn't really... I mean, they reversed the roles enough that the love triangle didn't stand out awkwardly, in my opinion, but it's still, as an adult, some of it I'm like, you didn't need to put that in there, did you? Really, Disney? I mean, they cranked up the heat when it came to some of the scenes between Giselle and Robert, especially the scene right after Happy Working Song, which I will review in my soundtrack review. But there's one, as much as I lull at it now as an adult, as a kid I had to cover my eyes. And I'm like, Disney, was that necessary? Also, the scene where Robert is told by Nancy, played by Indina Menzel, just kiss her. It's like, I mean, yeah, he did need the motivation, but he kind of didn't need the motivation. If they had just taken out the kiss that they shared, it wouldn't be so awkward. But I understand why they were doing it. They were heavily playing up the reverse isekai / role reversal thing going on, so I'm okay with it. And they tried to paint Robert as pragmatically as possible, whereas Giselle is as polar opposite as it can be. And that's what I love about him. And Giselle reminds me very much of myself in many ways, both in this movie and in Disenchanted. Minus the whole being a stepmom thing. But anyway, Enchanted is just a classic, especially with, I believe, the woman from Sound of Music, Julia Roberts, I believe is her name. You know, the Sound of Music. That lady, Julia Roberts, is that her name? Yeah. The lady from The Sound of Music narrates the story, and it was so awesome. She was also in The Princess Diaries 1 and 2, so definitely watch those movies if you haven't. Not being paid, trust me. But yeah, watch The Princess Diaries. You won't regret it. If you haven't been blessed yet. Watch that and then watch Enchanted. Thank me later. But yeah, I love Enchanted. It's a great film. It's a really cool reverse role reversal story, and I like that Disney utilized literally every trope that they had at the time and then just inverted it more or less. They hit the reverse button on pretty much every trope they had, and it worked because it wasn't forced. Now I'm about to offend some people with what I'm about to say, but it's my honest thought, so just take it or leave it. As much as I enjoy Descendants and how they're trying to do essentially the same thing but with villains, I still think Enchanted did it the best. And yes, that includes Disenchanted. But it's because it's using obvious things. Like, in Enchanted, Giselle marries Robert and becomes Morgan's stepmom. So it's obvious that in the much belated but happily received sequel, in my case, I was very happy that it came, however belated it was, that, Giselle might be a wicked stepmother. Who knows? But, spoilers. But yeah, no, I think it made sense. And it still uses a ton of Disney tropes, but it uses them correctly. It pays homage to the Walt Disney side of Disney, and that's what's so beautiful about it. And even in Disenchanted, there's a scene called there's a number called Fairy Tale Life that just literally echoes scenes from The Sound of Music as well as other classic movies and musicals. And Enchanted does the same with the song That's How You Know, as well as True Love's Kiss. And even the song So Close, it feels very reminiscent of like Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, or insert whatever your favorite Disney ball dance is. So This Is Love, something like that. It's just so beautiful. And of course, Giselle leaves her shoe, one of her heels, as she races to defeat Nerissa. And I'm like, I see what you did there, Giselle. Don't think I didn't catch that, Disney. I caught it. I saw what you were trying to do. And of course, Nancy and Prince Edward become king and queen of Andalasia, and that's lovely. And Nerissa, played by Susan Sarandon, like I love her. I love Nerissa. Queen Nerissa was such a badass, and the fact that she turned into a dragon a la Maleficent was so cool. And I'm talking like Sleeping Beauty version of Maleficent, like the classic version of Maleficent. No offense, but sorry. But the way that she just played the role so well, and she embodied the character, like you felt it as she was playing the role, and she was a great villain. And James Madison, I'm gonna call him Prince Edward. Prince Edward did a great job. And he actually sang a cover on the soundtrack of That's Amore by Dino Martin, and I'm like, oh, that was really good. I thought it was an actual Dean Martin song, but I don't. That's a copyright conflict for another day. But yes, I really did enjoy Enchanted. I recently rewatched it, and I think it's a classic movie. 10 out of 10, even with my gripes with it. And I feel like this movie is still severely underrated, and it's not necessarily even Disenchanted's fault. It's not Disenchanted's fault, and it's not even its own fault. I don't even blame the pandemic. I blame Disney Corporation. You're gonna hear this with every Disney thing I review. I fucking hate Disney Corp. The Disney Corporation. I do. I hate them. Which is probably why I'll never be hired at Marvel, but still, like, sign my petition if you want to change that. But I do believe that Walt Disney would have loved to have seen Enchanted had he lived long enough to see that movie come to fruition. And he would have saved a lot of headache for a lot of Marvel and Disney fans too. But I feel like that's what's great about Enchanted, the film, the first installment, is that it truly embodies all the most wonderful and some of the darkest aspects of the Walt Disney classic collections that there are. Was I the only one who had a DVD set of all the great Disney DVDs, like Little Mermaid, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Like, was I the only nerd that had all of them? And then started getting Disney, or not DVDs, VHS, And then started getting the Inspector Gadget stuff when it came out. Let me know if I was the only one. I feel like I wasn't, but we'll see. I'm not the only one. But anyway, if you got that reference, you're the real MVP. But yes, I love Enchanted. It's just a great movie. Just go watch it. And just so you know, for those of you who might not already know, it's a musical. It is a musical. A Walt Disney themed Disney movie musical. And it's incredible. However, there's this one YouTube channel that I will not name. But this YouTuber has a habit of like reviewing literally every movie, quotes around the word reviewing, and calling it nonsense clickbait style. And I'm like, bruv, just stop watching movies. You clearly don't like them. I'm going to turn into Robin for a minute. It's not the way it works. Like, I know this YouTuber has a ton of fans, so good for him, good for this YouTuber. But if you think literally every single movie that you watch, but you don't have to watch them by the way, makes no sense, then maybe stop watching movies and do something you actually like. Just try it. It might help. You know, you can still make money. I'm sure you can. I'm sure there are other ways you can make money, but just stop trying to bash movies. We already have, like, what is it? Everything wrong with Cinema Sins. Like, can we stop that shit? It's so ugh. And I hate to say it, but it's so high school. It's like, well, it's a musical. Why the hell are you watching it if you don't like musicals? That's all I'm asking. And if you say it's for a friend, I'm going to think that you secretly like musicals. And I will not change my opinion on that when I find out that it's true. Okay, and I know it sounds like I'm making huge overgeneralizations, but if you think Enchanted makes no sense and you don't like musicals, don't fucking watch it. That's all I have to say. But if you do like Enchanted and you respect the art of musicals, go watch it. Thank me later. And also watch Inspector Gadget 2. It's a really good one. And Princess Diaries 1 and 2. Preferably the first one, but yeah, Princess Diaries. But yeah, watch all of those. And watch Enchanted, and then watch my review for the soundtrack, as well as my upcoming Disenchanted review. That's how you know he's your love. Don't you already know that we both have more fun?